Let me tell you something. Everything you've ever dreamed of, everything you've ever wanted, it starts right up here in your mind, right there between your ears. That's the birthplace of every possibility in your life. But here's the catch. Thinking alone isn't enough. You see, having a thought, having a dream, that's like having a blueprint. It's just a piece of paper until you decide to start building something with it. Dreams are the blueprint of your life. They're the invisible designs that shape the life you're building, whether you realize it or not. Everything starts in your mind. Before you have it in your hand, you have to see it in your head. That's how every great invention came to be. That's how every book was written, every song composed, every building constructed. Somebody dreamed it first. Somebody closed their eyes and saw something that didn't exist yet, and they believed in it enough to bring it into this world. But here's what's real. Most people stop at the dream. They get the blueprint, they hang it up in their minds, and they think, that's it. They confuse dreaming with doing. They think about the life they want, the job they want, the body they want, the relationship they want, but they never move past the thinking stage. That's like a builder who has a blueprint for a beautiful house, but never lays the foundation, never picks up a hammer. That house is never going to build itself, and your dream won't build itself either. The blueprint is important though. Don't get it twisted. You can't build anything lasting without a plan. You can't build a life of purpose, a career of meaning, or a legacy that outlives you without a vision. Your dream is the foundation of that. That dream is telling you who you really are. It's giving you a glimpse of what you're capable of. It's your soul showing you what's possible if you're willing to do the work. That's why you can't ignore it. You can't brush it off like it's some random thought that popped into your head. That dream is speaking to you for a reason. Now, there's going to be a lot of noise out there. People will tell you to be realistic. They'll tell you to tone it down. They'll ask you, who do you think you are? And when they do, you tell them, I'm somebody with a blueprint. Because that blueprint makes you different. That blueprint means you've got a purpose bigger than this moment. And whether anybody else can see it or not, it's real, it's yours. The thing about blueprints is that they're detailed, they're specific. You need to get specific about your dreams. You need to see them clearly in your mind. If you want to be successful, you can't have a blurry vision. You can't walk around saying, I just want to be happy, or I just want to be rich, and expect to get anywhere. What does happy look like for you? What does success feel like for you? How do you want to live? Where do you want to live? Who do you want to help? What kind of impact do you want to have? Paint the picture, draw it out in your head. Get clear about it. That's how you turn a wish into a plan. Think about an architect. They don't just sketch out a box and say, here's a house. They map out every room, they measure the walls, they figure out where the doors go, where the windows go, where the light's going to shine through. Your dream deserves that kind of attention, that kind of focus. You've got to give it life in your mind before it ever shows up in your world. But listen closely, having a blueprint isn't enough. You don't get to sit back and wait for it to show up. You have to pick up the tools and start building. You have to show up every day with that blueprint in one hand and work ethic in the other. And the days when you're tired, when you're frustrated, when it feels like the house is never going to get built, you look back at that dream. You remind yourself why you started. You remind yourself of what you saw before anybody else could see it. You keep going because you know what you're building is worth it. The beautiful thing is, the more you work, the clearer the dream becomes. The more action you take, the more detailed the blueprint gets. And soon other people will start to see it too. They'll look at what you've built and say, I never knew you could do that. And you'll smile because you always knew. You saw it a long time ago. Your dream is the blueprint. It's your guide. It's your design for the life you want. And you have to protect it. You have to nurture it. Don't let anybody talk you out of it. Don't let the world shrink it down. Some people gave up on their dreams a long time ago, and they'll try to convince you to do the same. But you're not here to live a small life. You're not here to play it safe. You're here to build something that matters. You're here to turn that blueprint into something real. And you can. Start with a dream. Get clear on what you want. Hold that vision close. And then get to work. Because the blueprint only becomes a building when you decide to build it. You can have the biggest dream in the world. You can see it so clearly in your mind. It feels real. You can close your eyes and picture yourself living it. Standing on that stage, owning that business, holding that degree, running that race, being the person you've always wanted to be. But none of it will happen without discipline. Discipline is the bridge between your vision and your reality. It's the muscle that turns thoughts into things. Without it, the dream stays a dream. People like to talk about motivation. They want to be inspired. They want to feel hyped up, like they can conquer the world. And motivation is great. It gets you moving, it lights the fire. But motivation fades. It wears off when things get hard. Discipline is what kicks in when motivation packs its bags and leaves. Discipline doesn't care how you feel. It doesn't ask if you're in the mood. It doesn't wait for perfect conditions. Discipline shows up because it made a decision, and decisions, not feelings, make the difference. Discipline is doing it when nobody's watching, when the lights are off, when you're tired, when you're doubting yourself, when everything in you says, let's take a break today, and you do it anyway. That's the secret sauce right there. People think the magic happens when you feel good. It doesn't. The magic happens when you feel tired and inspired, maybe even defeated, and you show up anyway. Every day you do that, you put another brick in the wall. And after a while, you look up and realize you built something. You see, your vision is only as strong as the discipline that backs it. You can't wish yourself into shape. You can't hope yourself into success. It's not going to happen because you want it to. Wanting something and working for it are two different things. The world is full of people who wanted it but didn't get it. Not because they weren't talented, not because they weren't smart, but because they didn't stay disciplined long enough to see it through. Discipline is a daily choice. It's not something you do once. It's not something you pick up on Mondays and drop by Friday. It's consistency. It's showing up and doing the thing whether you feel like it or not. It's making a commitment to yourself and keeping it, no matter what. And the more you keep that promise to yourself, the more confident you become. You start to trust yourself. You start to believe, not because somebody told you, but because you've seen what you can do. Think about this. A vision is just an idea until you bring it to life. That life comes from action. And consistent action, that's discipline. Anybody can take action once. Anybody can have a good day. But discipline means you take action on the hard days too. It means you get up early when you'd rather sleep in. It means you practice when everybody else quit for the day. It means you say no to distractions and yes to your purpose. Over and over again. The truth is, there's nothing glamorous about discipline. It's not sexy. It's not exciting most of the time. It's not the part people see on Instagram. It's not the highlight reel. It's the work that happens when the cameras are off and it's just you and your dream and the decision to keep going. But discipline is what creates the moments everybody talks about. Discipline is what makes the highlight reel possible. You don't get the celebration without the sacrifice. You don't get the success without the sweat. People think they need to feel inspired to take action. No, you don't. You need discipline to take action. And if you take enough action, guess what? Inspiration comes, motivation finds you while you're working. You don't wait for it. You create it through movement, through showing up again and again. You can tell how bad somebody wants something by how disciplined they are. Not by what they say, not by how excited they get in the beginning, but by what they do when the excitement is gone. When it's just them and the grind. When it's boring, when it's repetitive, when it's lonely. That's when discipline speaks the loudest. Discipline transforms vision into action by making sure you don't just talk about it, you live it. Every decision you make either moves you closer to your vision or further away from it. Every day you show up, every task you complete, every time you honor the process, you are turning what was once just an idea into something tangible, something real. The people who succeed in this world aren't always the most talented. They're the most disciplined. They keep showing up. They keep doing the work. They keep laying the bricks one at a time until they build something nobody can ignore. And when you look at them and think they were lucky, remember this. Luck is often just discipline that's been grinding quietly for years. You want your vision to come alive? You want to live the life you see in your head? Then you need discipline. You need to be relentless. You need to show up, rain or shine. Because when you do that, when you keep showing up and taking action, you don't just have a dream, you become the dream in motion. Belief in the unseen is where every great thing begins. It's easy to have faith in something you can already touch. It's simple to believe in what you can already see. But the real challenge, the real test of who you are, comes when you have to believe in something that hasn't shown up yet. When there's no proof, no evidence, no guarantees, just a feeling in your gut, a fire in your spirit, and a vision in your mind that nobody else can see but you. That's where the greats are separated from the rest. Right there, in that space where nothing exists yet except belief. You can't wait for the world to believe in you before you start. The world believes in results. But you don't get results without first believing in something that's not there. Every success story you've ever heard started with belief in the unseen. Somebody believed they could write a book before they wrote a single word. Somebody believed they could win the championship before they ever stepped foot on the field. Somebody believed they could change their life even when the world told them they wouldn't amount to anything. They believed it long before anyone else did. The problem is, most people want to see the finish line before they take the first step. They want to be sure before they move. But life doesn't work like that. You move first, you believe first, then the road opens up. You don't get to know all the answers, you don't get to have a guarantee. What you get is a choice. Believe or back down. Keep going or give up. Faith or fear. And the ones who change their lives, the ones who rise above, they choose faith. They choose belief in what they cannot yet see. That belief, that invisible power, is what carries you through the dark days, because they're coming. There'll be days when everything seems like it's falling apart. Days when nobody claps for you, when nobody encourages you, when nobody says your name. You'll wonder if you're crazy for believing in something that's not there yet. And that's when belief matters most. That's when you dig deep and remind yourself why you started. You remind yourself of the dream you saw when you closed your eyes and imagined your life on another level. You remind yourself of who you are, even if no one else can see it yet. Belief in the unseen is not passive. It's not just sitting around waiting for things to change. It's active. It's aggressive. It's showing up every day, putting in the work and acting like it's already yours. It's training like the champion before you ever win the belt. It's speaking like the leader before anyone votes for you. It's writing like a best-selling author before you sell a single copy. You live it before it shows up. That's belief. That's power. And here's the thing. People are going to doubt you. They're going to tell you to be realistic. They'll say your head's in the clouds, and that's fine. Let them talk. You don't need their belief. You need your own. You don't need them to see it. You just need to see it for yourself. Every successful person was called crazy at one point. They were misunderstood, they were told to give up, and they kept going anyway because they believed. They saw the finish line before it was even built. Belief in the unseen is what makes the impossible possible. Look at anything great in this world, a skyscraper, a work of art, a revolutionary invention. It didn't just appear, it was imagined first. It was believed in first. Somebody had to see it in their mind before anyone could experience it in reality. That's your job. That's your responsibility, to hold on to the vision of what could be, even when nothing around you confirms it yet. You might not have all the answers, you might not have the resources, you might not even have a clear path right now, but if you have belief, you have enough to start. If you have belief, you have enough to move forward, because belief turns into action, action turns into progress, progress turns into results, and results change everything. But it starts in the unseen. It starts in that place where it's just you, your dream, and your determination, where nobody's clapping, where there's no spotlight, where you have to clap for yourself, cheer for yourself, motivate yourself. That's where strength is built. That's where faith is forged. And if you stay there long enough, if you keep showing up, the day will come when the unseen becomes seen, when the world finally sees what you always knew, when they finally say, I knew you could do it. Even though they didn't, you knew, you believed, you saw it long before they did. So hold on to that belief, nurture it, protect it, build your life around it. Because belief in the unseen is the birthplace of every dream that ever came true, and yours is no different.